Well, hello. Hi, Nick. I'm just setting up my laptop. Hello, everyone. What's up? I'm $1 Million Month Mama. How are you? TBRWN. That's an interesting username. What's up, Cheryl, Karina, Sebastian, Sarah everywhere, Shelby, Carrie, Zazzle, Bad Kitty. How are you all on this fabulous Sunday early evening? There we go. Hold on. Okay. Ooh, Purnima, thank you so much. What was everybody doing? I don't feel like turning on my ring light. I hope you don't care. I'm sure you guys don't give a shit. But I don't need to be illuminated. I'm in a relaxed state, letting everything flow. Good. Good. I'm very happy to hear that. In my opinion, that's the best place to be. Alyssa. Holy, that was quick. Thank you very much. Hi, Kim. I really need advice, please. How do I keep persisting in my manifestation when the 3D is completely opposite? Example, he's engaged to the 3P. Okay, so when you think of the word persisting, what do you think of? So in other words, if someone other than me, some other YouTube channel, TikTok, told you to persist, what do you think that means? I think most people think of persisting or persistence as I have to be okay with the circumstances. I have to make myself okay. I have to pretend that it doesn't exist because I'm not supposed to have my mind on it. And that's not my view of persisting. Because when things bother us, I think that sometimes the message in this community can be that, if you think about it, that's going to be a problem, right? Because we hear the phrase, keep it, what's in your awareness is what you're going to keep experiencing, blah, 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 blah. But there's a difference between, trying to pretend something isn't bothering you yet versus just knowing it's there, but knowing it really doesn't hold any power over you and what you're manifesting. So this isn't, we have to pretend to feel okay about circumstances. When we take a closer look at our own minds, in other words, when we get into observer mode, when you're just quieting the mind as best as possible and really observing the thoughts that are going by and really thinking and contemplating the thoughts themselves and why you think the thoughts you're thinking and the meaning behind them. In a sense, it's like peeling back the layers of who you are. So in one respect, we don't have to pretend to not be bothered by circumstances that seem not great, like your specific person being engaged to someone else. We don't have to pretend that that doesn't bother us, but we don't necessarily have to view that as that's going to prevent any other unfolding, because it's not. It can't. Most of the time, the circumstances we're facing, they don't usually make sense to us. In other words, we might be able to look at them and figure out why they're here. But how they apply to our manifestation, we don't always see. We don't always understand, right? But that's the beauty of this, is we don't have to love our circumstances. We don't have to understand the circumstances in order to decide who we are as the I am. So who are you? Who do you really identify with, Alyssa? Are you identifying with, I have these circumstances, this is who I am? I don't have what I want. The person I'm with is someone else. That's really who I am. Versus knowing yourself as source, knowing that that's what your conscious awareness is, and seeing the circumstances truthfully as just a part of the unfolding instead of giving it the meaning that it's preventing you from getting what you want. That's what I meant about observing the observer, observing the thoughts that go through your mind and really contemplating, why am I afraid of this situation? So we'll use your circumstance. Why am I afraid of it? Why am I bothered by this? I mean, outside of the obvious. Well, because I don't like the idea that the person I'm interested in is with somebody else, is engaged with somebody else. Okay, why? Why does that bother you? Well, maybe it's because I'm afraid that means they're actually going to get married and I'm going to lose the person I want. Maybe that means I'm never going to get my manifestation. Maybe that means this is obviously, logically in my face, he's choosing someone else. Okay, they make sense. But where did that fear come from? Why is that so inherently terrifying? If we know that we are source, the I am. And you just keep peeling back, and you're going to see that it was nothing but part of the identity from a set of beliefs, from a state of consciousness, but that you have the willing choice to not identify with it anymore, to not believe or to not claim that those beliefs are who you are now. Do you see what I mean? There's nothing anybody can say to you that's going to immediately make you feel better until you decide it for yourself. Do you see what I mean? If this is a matter of you questioning whether you can manifest this person, of course you can. I don't care if they actually went off and got married. That is meaningless. From the logical mind, it might be painful, uncomfortable. That doesn't mean any future moment where you two is over. It never means that. There's nothing in 3D reality that's ever permanently over. Our logical mind might immediately start thinking of things. Well, if this happens, it's really over. No, that's part of your own paradigm. You believe that. You're resonating with that. You're accepting that. That doesn't mean it's true for everyone else. Do you see what I mean? There really are no limits. Sorry, my boyfriend opened up the garage door. She goes nuts. Poop! Get out! Okay. So does that make sense, Alyssa? I hope. You come here and be a good girl. Come here. Come sit down in here. Corina, thank you very much. Sucks when I feel in the state, yet 3D isn't reflecting. Try not to focus, but I feel jarred when I can tell. I notice it's not here. Then I feel like me noticing is making it worse. No, that's just a misconception. That's just a misunderstanding, and which is not your fault, because I know it can get explained that way in this community. We can be aware of what's in our 3D reality. We can be aware of what we see in front of our face. What matters is who we believe we are. So maybe that isn't as clear. So let's say you really didn't say what you're manifesting. So I guess I'm just going to use an SP example. If you want to manifest a specific person and be, my words, in a loving, fulfilling, committed relationship, then that would be the identity I would know myself to be. Notice I didn't say, hey, what's really in my 3D though, okay? 3D can be the complete opposite. You can be experiencing nothing. But who you know yourself to be is enough. You could also only be bringing the focus to your true self, as in the I am. The I am, right? The source. From there, you're choosing, you're selecting. So those moments that you get jarred because you notice in the 3D that we'll say it's not here yet, you don't have what you want. Yes, I understand that being uncomfortable. I understand that. But think about, okay, why am I uncomfortable? Why does that jar me? Observe the observer. Think about it. Why? Is it jarring to you because maybe in that moment when you're looking out and you're, we'll say, not seeing what you want, that maybe that's why your body is responding that way, because you're believing something that isn't necessarily true. Maybe in the world of the senses, which is our 3D world, you don't necessarily see your specific person sitting next to you. But maybe that is your higher self giving you the little nudge to bring it back. Bring it back to who you want to be. We don't have to convince our logical minds that we have what we want. We don't have to convince the little you, the little us, the little me. We just have to know ourselves to be. And I know that can sound like a tongue twister or sound like it's a riddle that I'm trying to give you. But let me say it like this. When I was manifesting my relationship, and you probably see him, he keeps walking by the window because he's outside grilling. When I was manifesting the relationship, I was aware that it wasn't here, that it wasn't in my face, that he wasn't living here, that we weren't together. I was aware of that, but I still brought my attention, my imagination, my focus, my awareness back to who I wanted to be. I could still bring my focus back to that with knowing that everything I'm experiencing is bringing it to me. Everything I experience, even the moments when you get jarred and see, what you don't want in reality, that is still a part of you having the experience because everything is now. So think about that. If everything is now and creation is finished, outside of you deciding what you want, saying yes to that desire, everything else is done. Everything else is right here. And as our state changes, as we are being the self that has the desire, knowing yourself as source, your filter gets clearer and clearer and clearer to where you see the full manifestation in front of you. So don't be upset with yourself because you get jarred, right? That's, in one respect, it's meaningless. It's your own, at that moment, your own awareness deciding it's not here yet. You don't have what you want yet. There's a difference between knowing yourself to be who you want to be and knowing it doesn't matter what we see in the 3D. You choose the identity anyway. Does that make sense? I hope. TBRWN, I like you. You are saying very nice things. Kim, I trust your eyes. They are so clear, so aware. You are waking so many people up, me included. I'm so thankful for you. That was so sweet. Thank you so much. Do you want to know something? I know that I manifested you saying that. If we were like going before I even started this channel, I remember starting to script, right? About the channel, starting to script that all I wanted was for people to see right through me, to be able to look at my eyes and know what I'm saying is the truth based on my understanding or based on where I was in my understanding or in consciousness. So I love that. It just came through you, my friend. Not very long, John. It hasn't been very long. And I just want to say one more thing to Karina. I just want to say just this one more thing. Do you see just that one sentence? It sucks when I feel in the state, yet 3D isn't reflecting. Try not to focus, but I feel jarred. Do you see how just in that moment? All right, I'm going to try to reword it. At every given moment, literally every single millisecond of your, fake linear time, but linear time, each millisecond that you're experiencing, you are every possible version of yourself, all at the same time, at every given moment. You are all that is. Okay? All that is. Think about that. That's a lot. That's infinity. Okay? It's the infinite. And our human logical mind can't even really truly conceive of what that is, right? We have our logical ideas and perspectives of what that might mean, but we can't even conceive what the all there is. You're all of that, right? That's a part of you. You could look at it that way if you'd like. It's a part of you. Or you could look at it as, this is just another way of wording it to help. But I don't want you to limit yourself to this, but think of it as God is within you. Your every breath, the living and breathing you, is that same God. Now, if you were brought up with all sorts of religious ideas, that can be a wackadoodle concept to step into, but I will tell you that as you move along and evolve, the deepening of that understanding will happen for you. So it's okay if you don't buy into that right now. But so who you really are is consciousness. Consciousness equals all there is. It's everything. In our reality, what our logical human senses, our logical human eyeballs and ears and, what are all the senses, taste, touch, all the stuff. Think of it as the senses can only experience a fraction of that from one version of you. That's what the senses can experience. Just a tiny fraction of one version of you. So in that, we'll say that millisecond when you get jarred, that is just one little tiny version of you who's quickly looking out with the senses, quickly, oh, I don't think I see it yet. Oh, that's one version of yourself. Bring it back. There's nothing to be upset about, nothing to jar yourself over. Just bring your focus back. Your mind is going to want to keep you in the spinning of thoughts, thinking more and more about where is it? Why isn't it here yet? What else has to happen for it to get here yet? That's just think of it as ego. And ego is not a bad word. Ego is what helps you to experience reality. It helps you experience it through the you, the vessel of you. I don't like that word character at all anymore. So I'm not going to bring you in that direction. I think that when we split off, this is just the character. Oh, this is just your character. No, you are all that is. Every part of you, everything about you is the I am. So we don't need to separate ourselves to the character versus the I am. I don't like that. I think that that just leads to confusion. So you're everything. Everything you ever was, everything you ever could be, all at once. So what? You looked out, you noticed something wasn't here yet. Whoops, we're just forgetting. We're forgetting the true self. Come back. Come back to who you want to be. The more you let go of 3D reality, the more you just allow it to flow and just concern yourself with knowing yourself to be source, the self who has whatever it is you're manifesting. Everything is naturally flowing to you anyway. Everything you're experiencing is naturally a part of whatever it is you desire. Everything is. There's no coincidences. There's no mistakes, right? That's that logical side of us that thinks there can be mistakes and failures, but they're really not, right? They're all a part of that beautiful orchestration that's always running. It's always moving. In other words, you can't fuck this up. Your only thing that you need to put your awareness, your attention, your focus on is knowing yourself to be source. Boom. Everything else is added to you perfectly. Doesn't always feel that way, but the only time it doesn't feel that way is when what? We're probably entangling ourselves with the senses again. The only time we ever really feel bad is when we're interpreting reality through the senses, giving time to fear. But it's really only your own perception of the experience of fear that it feels like fear. See what I mean? No. God, pure unadulterated consciousness, doesn't fail, doesn't make mistakes. God isn't experience things by happenstance. Everything is perfectly orchestrated, which is why that as you evolve and let's say rise in consciousness, and even that is what? That's just a perspective. The rising in consciousness or expanding the awareness. That's just perspective, right? God can't be added to. God is. God just is. So in other words, everything naturally comes to you. All right, let's think about this. Before you ever found out about conscious manifestation, how did you think life worked? I'm sure a handful of you just thought, well, life just happens. You have no control over it. You know, some people just get lucky. Some people work hard and that's how they get the good things in life. What I mean by that is you were moving and life was moving with you. You just weren't aware the entire time of your true self. But things happened. They happened. Life moved. Life flowed. Regardless if you had a day full of fears or a day full of what was filled of like joy and happiness, it just keeps happening. The only difference between now versus then is now you're awake to who you really are. which is why it isn't necessarily required to be attached to endless techniques. So if anybody's new to all of this, I don't want you to hear that and think that techniques are bad, because that's not my message. I'm saying you notice that as you rise in consciousness, your need and desire to utilize endless techniques kind of goes down. The higher you go, the techniques start falling down to slim to none. And you come into the awareness that the moment you have your desire, and that you can feel your own personal, because nobody can tell you how it feels for you. When you know that you've said yes to that desire, you want that experience, everything's already gone, done. Everything's moving you to it anyway. Know yourself to be who you want to be. As weird as it sounds, perfection comes out of chaos. Mic drop, Mr. or Mrs. Fan Theory. Agreed. If God's inside, why do I feel so unhappy and desperate? Because God, all right, so think of it as God doesn't say no. God says yes. God does not push itself on you to pick directions. Now, it's only the experience or the perspective of duality that we can see things or believe things to be good and bad. But is there really duality? Is there? Or is just the experience, the perspective? Ponder that one. I'm not going to force you what to think. I'm just saying. You're all that is. So, all right, why would you feel, sad or down or yucky, like you said, if God is within you? Because you have choice. You have free will to know yourself to be whoever you want to be. You have choice. You can move your awareness anywhere you want. No one can force you to think a thought. Think about it. Your imagination is the true definition of limitless. No one can stop you from imagining anything. No one can. There's nothing on the outside that can prevent you from using your imagination. Think, if you'd like, think of imagination as your God particle, your God connection, your awareness. So, you have options of where you put your awareness. And sadness, depression, unhappiness, they're options. See what I mean? Everything that we think about, and by think, I just mean choose to marinate, is choice. It's always choice. I know it don't always feel like choice. I know I've had my own experiences where sadness and depression, unhappiness, anger, they didn't feel like choices to me. But truthfully, that's because I was still seeing myself as separate from source, separate from God, universe, higher power, source energy, moonbeams, whatever you want to call it. I still saw myself as separate. So I would look out at the circumstances and say, well, it's those circumstances that are making me sad. Or it's that person who's making me unhappy. So as if the power was out of my hands. Well, the power was never out of my hands. I was choosing to feel that way, to be that way. The more you spend time observing the mind, the more clearer you'll see that the choice is. The less you want and the less you fight the flow, the more you get what you were intended to get. The universe wants us to be happy. And if we are telling it for sadness, then we get sadness. I agree. Thank you, Crystal. Sheila, thank you very much. I went to Spain and my thoughts and wait. I went to Spain and my thoughts and nervous at was not how I'd like it to be. And my boyfriend is still wobbling and I feel stuck even though I know it's my state wobbling and the bridge. Okay. This, Sarah, I'm going to be honest, this is a really good example of why I think it's really important to remember that this having our nervous system, what's that common phrase? Nervous system regulation. It feels good to have our nervous system regulated. But when we see that as it's a must in order to have our desire, no, that's become now a layer or a limit. See what I mean? Outside of the awareness of who you're choosing to be, who you are knowing yourself to be, who you are aware of. Outside of that, there are no other requirements to manifest. So don't be beating yourself up because you noticed your nervous system was a little off balance. Don't look at that as I won't be able to have the things I want if this is what my nervous system feels like. It's not regulated. Because that's a story, that's a limit. You're already all versions of yourself. The version of you with a perfectly regulated nervous system versus a version who isn't. You're all that is. And who you claim yourself to be is who you will be. And it can change from moment to moment. So, if the boyfriend is still wobbling or not showing up the way you would prefer, how are you perceiving that? How are you showing up to the boyfriend? Are you the version of yourself that you want to be? Or are you still operating from fear? You see what I mean? Sapperini next. Oh dear. Nervous system regulation, the latest trend that so many latch onto and claim it to be the thing to do. So I totally agree. I'm giving you a virtual high five. Virtual high five. Totally agree with you. If you've been in this community for any amount of time, let's just say if you've been here a year, 2 years, 3 years, can't you see the trends? Can't you see that's what happens? Every change in season, there is the newest trend to latch onto, and that's the best way to manifest. And it's all smoke and mirrors. The only thing you need to manifest, and I'm using that word need loosely, is your own I am awareness. That's it. To some logical-minded folks, that just isn't going to sit with them right away. But eventually they'll catch up. It's all about who you are, who you identify as from moment to moment to moment to moment. Because you're already, right now, as you're sitting here watching this, you're unconditional love. You're already perfection. You are already all there is. It's all within you. So some of you might be looking out to the 3D reality. It's the outside, right? The 3D reality is on the outside. No, you are on the outside. You're the everything. The 3D reality is really within you. Your consciousness. You're the universe. We don't need all the trends. Listen, If those things feel good to you, then you will manifest the experience of using those tools to help you manifest. But what they are permission slips. Got to give credit to Bashar for that one because that came from him. The permission slips. Oh, I need nervous system I got to regulate my nervous system. No, that's just your manifested permission slip. That's what's in your 3D. You're experiencing it. You're agreeing with it. So it's your own projected permission slip to manifest. Do you see what I mean? Yes. Fear is a choice. ChatGPT keeps my ass in check daily. I love ChatGPT. I don't necessarily use it for manifestation, but I do have it when I want recipes, when I want to figure out why my finger here was sore today. ChatGPT. I don't Google anything anymore. I go right to ChatGPT and let it Google for me. So I guess you could say it's keeping me in check too, huh? So back to Sarah. Don't beat yourself up. No more of this wobbling. Don't claim that for yourself at all. You are not wobbling. You are perfectly perfection. You are exactly who you want to be right now in this moment. You choose that. You decide that. You're in a loving, fulfilling, committed relationship, but show up as that. So what does that mean? That doesn't mean take bullshit from your boyfriend. Doesn't mean be a doormat to the boyfriend. And that's for anybody else listening. You're not doormats. That's not what this means. When you're viewing through the lens or the filter, say it again because I don't think she heard you say that. She's probably going to check for me. Go on, Pope. Go on. Go on. Go up with Daddy. Go with Daddy. Love you. Okay, sorry. I don't know how to act in 3D. It's so awkward in its self-protective mode. I'm in self-protective mode. Okay. What does that mean? Define to me what you mean by I'm in self-protective mode. That's going to help me help you. So define that. This is a really good question too. Hold on. I'm going to, what is it? Tone or Tony? I'm going to come back to you because that's a good question. I'll come back. Just give me a second. When I'm not with him, I am in a good state. But when I see him, I see Carlos pop up. I just want you to know that ever since you came to the live stream and talked about the shit version of your specific person is naming him Carlos versus his real name, that has taken off. You would not believe how many coaching sessions I've had with people that I would never expect it to come from, and it's more than one, so you'll know, that they are now doing that, and they are naming their shit SPs as Carlos as well, Sarah. You have started the Carlos trend. No offense to other Carloses. Okay, no offense. All right, so I'm colder than normal with him. Don't let him kiss me, and don't share my feelings. Okay. So, thank you very much, Golden Heart. I'm colder than normal. I don't let him kiss me, and I don't share my feelings. So you shut down and go into self-protection mode. And you already said that phrase. Okay, who are you in that moment? Who are you? Now, I'm not telling you that you need to be all kissy and all those things. No. You do what feels good to you. I'm just saying, who are you really in that moment? Are you in that moment actually in your head saying, you know what, fine, I'm not gonna give him any love. I don't care. I don't even need him. I'll just leave his ass. till he starts acting nice? Is that kind of where your mind's going? Because I recognize that. I recognize that because that is something I used to do. So I know that when I was doing it, in my mind, that's what I was thinking. I don't even need his ass. I could just leave him right now. He doesn't even know how lucky he is that I'm even here. I'm not going to be nice. I'm not going to talk about my feelings. I'm not going to talk about anything. I'll just sit here and just fucking stare or play on my phone. That was me. Because I know he's being sneaky in the 3D behind my back. No. If you know that, is it because you actually know that or you think that? And if it's you know that, what do you think about him? Have you ever said, listen, why are you trying to talk to me when I know you're talking to other people? I don't understand. What's this connection here? Why are you here? I'm not telling you have to go say that to him. I'm just trying to say, if we're focusing on what we think, and I check his location. Sarah! Who are you being? No, you know I love you. But if we're checking his location and doing things like that, we are operating from the version of ourselves that is completely and utterly expecting him to do something that's going to hurt your feelings. Fool around with somebody else. I know the light. I'm illuminated like an angel right now, but sorry if it's annoying. But seriously, you don't have to apologize to me. It's your reality. I'm just saying, though, let's think about that logically for one moment. The only time we have the instinct to check their social media, check their location. Don't get me wrong. I understand checking the location. No, I can't even think of a reason. Yes, I can. No, that still falls over. No, I can't think of a reason. The only time we're doing that is when we're seeking outside validation, or we're seeking, well, it's the same thing as validation, but it's because we have the expectation that they're going to let us down. And eventually we'll find something. We don't want to find anything. We want him to show up lovely. Do you actually know that he has ever done something that he shouldn't? Has he let you down before? If he has, see, it's kind of like this. In one respect, you don't necessarily have to micromanage who you are in the 3D. But when you're truly being or are aware of being the I am, of being source, of knowing that you know you're going to have exactly what you want, you no longer feel pulled to do those kinds of things because you're really allowing. So if I were you, in the moment that you want to do any type of investigating, I would instead bring the focus back to you. Observing the observer. Because investing more linear time in observing is going to benefit you more than checking the 3D. Because investigating in the 3D is just putting the power on the outside of you. And it's actually, it's telling you who you are, who you really believe you are in that moment. I reached out for an emergency. You did? I don't think I saw it. I'll have to check, Sarah. I'll check for that. And I just sent out a bunch of emails for emergencies. I didn't see yours. I'll check because I know I still have you saved from, from the past. I'll look for it. Joelle, thank you very much. Can you please talk again about your September of 22? What would you like me to talk about specifically? What would you like, my friend? Other than it really sucked and then it got really good? What details would you like? John M., thank you very much for the coffee sticker. That was very nice. Thank you. Exactly that. Okay, it sucked, and then I got better. Just teasing. I'm teasing. That month really blew. September of 2022 was really shitty. I was miserable. I was in a very, very victim state, yucky state, and call it all sorts of names state. I was very dissatisfied with reality, but not just in one area, in all areas. And I kind of shut myself out from the world, essentially. And, well, let me reword. Did my best to as much as possible. I wanted change in my life. I wanted a relationship. I wanted to be happier in the relationship. I wanted real love, real love. A more big, I don't know how to describe it, a bigger love, a more intense love that I had not really ever experienced before. But what I had experienced up into that was what I thought love was. So like 6 months before September of 2022 is when my little antennas were going off that I wanted more. But then I would keep denying that and putting Band-Aids on it, trying to make myself feel happy with what was in front of me, and I just wasn't. So finally, 6 months later, welcome September of 2022. And I took literally the entire month off mentally and really spiraled a lot, had a lot of fear, a lot of doubt. And then my download came of, what am I doing? What am I doing? I'm just gonna decide who I am. If I'm source, if I am the I am, I'm just going to tell myself, this is who I am. And then I would say the incline started. I started coming back out, climbing my way out of that, what felt like the pit of hell. And I wouldn't say my life was magical overnight. I could just, I don't know, like the energy of happy change was in the air, and it frickin' felt good. And I just kept, if I would fall out of that, if I was getting myself, let's say worried about the 3D again, I would just return. But I would double down in that returning, that I refuse to be my old self. And I by all like intents and purposes, if that's that phrase, I meant it when I said I was detached from my 3D. Detached. I really tried to stick to what I describe detachment as. So in other words, I was practicing what I preached. And I feel that helped me. Oh my God, in so many ways. So many ways. In my really doubling down in refusing to be my old self, refusing to give in to old thinking, the way I would handle 3D, I refused to do anything I was aware of that my old self would do. Anything. So like one of those where Sarah mentioned, yeah, there was no check in the 3D on my end. There was nothing. And I put all focus on me with like sitting here talking to you, thinking about, I want to say now, because September, like just pretty much the whole month of September sucked. By the last week of September, a week or two, is when I would have the snippets of feeling better, and then I would fall back out, feeling better, fall back out. So really October and November is when I was really feeling the incline of I was feeling much better. It was easier for me to maintain my state. I just didn't give a shit what was in the 3D at all. I completely was immersed in me, who I was, what I wanted, who I wanted to be, what I wanted my life to look like. And that's where that whole phrase, I am new self, came from. Because I had that list. And yeah. So September sucked. It was not fun. It had a lot of tears. And I don't regret September of 2022. For as much as it sucked, it changed my life. I came out, my understanding of conscious awareness, I swear, like more than doubled. It just, I don't look back and think, I don't look back at that in fear. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't look back in that in fear because I know what happened when I got out of it. I know how radically my life changed when I came out. So I don't love not feeling good, but I'm not afraid of experiencing uncomfortable things because I know what my experience was coming out of it. But I just want to say for anybody that maybe you're experiencing your own little September of 2022, but we're calling it maybe September of 2025, really think about detaching from reality, detaching from it, not giving it any other meaning but something that's beneficial to you. Really think about that. Really, really observe your mind and where your mind goes. And when it's unfavorable things, all right, why? Why do you think the way you think about love? Why do you think the way you think about relationships? And maybe you're manifesting money. The things, we're talking about the things that are uncomfortable. Well, why do you think those uncomfortable things about money? And more than likely, as you ask yourself those questions, it's going to come down to either a straight up belief or a memory or experience of something that then caused you to think that way for the rest of your life, where you can see right through it that it was just that little moment or that little belief that you've let control you for years. Here's your opportunity to say, no more. No more. I refuse it. Refuse it. And detach from 3D. So in other words, without labeling reality as not changed yet, nothing's changed yet, nothing's here yet, then nothing's changed yet. Then nothing's gonna be here yet. So it might not be easy for you to look out to reality and, and fake tell yourself that everything's fine. How about just, it doesn't fucking matter what's out here. It doesn't fucking matter. Because the less of a grip you have on it, the easier it flows. And you'll see how quickly things do start turning around for you. I know that I also let go of the preconceived idea of how things should look. How things should look for me to feel safe that this is working. That's a big one. And that's kind of what I mean by detachment. That's a big one. Think about it. When you think about that it's not changing, nothing's working, well, how do you know that? What are you looking at on the outside that's telling you that it's not working? More than likely, it's going to be a logical reason. Well, I don't see the manifestation, Kim. There, I just don't see it. It's not here. Haven't heard from my specific person. My bank account says X amount of dollars. So there, I don't see it. Okay. What do you think you need to experience in reality for you to feel safe that your manifestation is actually here or working? What movement in 3D is going to make you actually feel better? Because the real answer is nothing. Nothing really. Something amazing could happen. But if we don't change who you know yourself to be, you'll just eventually find a reason to think what has shown up isn't enough. It's not good enough. So nothing out here really matters. Who you know yourself as, that's what matters. Yes, Mina said it perfectly. 3D is a circumstance itself. Yes. And I just want to explain when I said that, what do you need to see for you to feel secure that this is working? So we'll use a specific person example. So let's say you're manifesting a specific person. You heard me ask that question and you're thinking to yourself, okay, what do I need to see in the 3D for me to feel safe that I am going to get what I want or that my manifestation is working? And maybe some of you SP manifestors just said, well, if I had a text, if I got a call from my person, or if my person, took me out for a date, then I would know this is working. Okay, great. Let's say that happens. Let's say you get your date. Let's say you get your text, you get your call. You got it. There's your evidence it's working. Now, how long is it going to be before you think that isn't long enough? That's not enough. That's how much? What if you have an amazing, wonderful date with your person today and then you don't hear from them for a month? But you said all you needed was the one date. You just needed that to happen. You just needed that text, that call. So what happens if time goes by? Time that isn't real. But I'm saying, just for the example, this is what I mean by there will never actually be enough. There will never actually be something out here that's going to truly fulfill you. You might feel like it fulfills you temporarily. But it's not going to fulfill you. Only you can do that. Only you can. With this. Hey, no, you're not going to sit here and be doing that. Sorry. She's excited. Anytime he goes in and out of the house, it's exciting. Pope! Pope, come in here. Come on. Come here. Come sit with mommy. Come here. Relax. 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 Okay? Chill out. He's coming back. Then movement when you got your full manifestation. What about it? What did you mean by that, Joelle? Mina, you are rolling out with the stuff. You can get your SP and still think negatively about him and lose him again. Mic drop. Mic drop. She's right. No meaning after that. You got it. No meaning after that. You got it. I don't know what you mean by that. You're going to have to spell it out to me because I'm not sure what you're saying. After the downfall. No meaning after that. You got it. After the downfall of September. I'm sorry, Joelle. I still don't know what you mean. Wait, then move it? No, I still don't get it. Oh, girl, I am sorry. They are saying, did you get your manifestation after all that? Well, yeah, of course. Hello. Yes. Yes, I did. Is that what you meant? Oh, my God, Joelle. Is that simply what you meant? Come on. Sometimes I can be thick. Sometimes I need things spelled out. Thank you, Sebastian, for spelling it out for me. Well, greetings from New York, Delaney. And it happened fast. Well, I suppose that's relative, isn't it? That's relative. To me, this is one of the reasons why I don't like sharing time frames, because I don't think it's helpful. I know when you're on the other side of it, it feels like it would be really, really helpful, because I know how I used to think. But it can also be discouraging, and we should not compare each other, because our journeys are all going to look unique. And one situation is not worse than somebody else's. That's what I'm trying to say. It's relative. But so let me say this. There's definitely more than September and October and blah, blah, blah. It was definitely after that. Some might say that's long. Some might say that's not very long. I will tell you, outside of September, because September I was just in a shitty state, so I'm not going to, fool you into thinking that, I just didn't care about that. No, I cared. I cared about everything in September. I was a hot mess. But as I started putting the focus on who I wanted to be, I wasn't worried about time. I didn't care. I know that can be very hard to believe when you're hurting. But before you give me a lot of credit, oh my God, she wasn't worried about time. You got to please know that September of 2022 was not the beginning of my journey. I have been on the conscious manifestation road for a very long time. So by then, time didn't scare me anymore. But had I gone through that 5-6 years before, I would have been terrified over time. So that's all I mean by that. Like, did he know you were manifesting him? I don't think that he thought that then. No. Does he know now? Well, yeah. He knows everything. But, oh God, I remember when I didn't want him to know. I was scared, all that stuff. And no, he knows everything. Did that run across his mind? Like, is she manifesting me? No, I don't think so. I've asked him. He says no. And he's never said differently. But was I on his mind? Yeah. But I also was really doing my best to keep him out of my mind. But that's just something I wanted to do for me. I'm not saying you need to do that to manifest your person. It takes time. We make the desire natural for us. Can you hear him? He's right outside the sliding glass door. Sorry. Did you mean, how did he take when you told him everything? Do you mean when I told him about me manifesting him? That? He thinks, this is probably going to sound weird, but it made him happy. He also thought like, yeah, right. Yeah, right. Because he knew what I did for a living. I mean, he knew I had, social media, blah, blah, blah. That wasn't really a secret to him. I had never really talked in depth about it before. And it really wasn't until after that time, after September, when he and I were actually starting to talk more and more, that's kind of when it started coming out. But you know what I think? I think he actually liked knowing it. It made him happy, if that makes sense. Trying to take SP off pedestal. Good idea. Good idea. Seriously. I don't usually hammer on the pedestal talk because I think that when we love someone, we naturally put them on some kind of a pedestal, right? Isn't that how we discern who we want the romantic relationship with versus who we don't? So I don't overthink it. It's just when you have them so damn high that you're below, that's when it's an issue, in my opinion. I swear, Kim, your situation sounds a lot like mine. I'm sure it is. It would make sense, Lisa. It would make sense. And I'm only saying that because we reflect each other, right? From your perspective, it's your reality. From my perspective, it's my reality. So, of course, we're going to experience the reflection. So I bet it does. And you know what? That's something that I say happens in like my the hot seat group, the membership, that if you don't get into the hot seat, say you're someone who doesn't want to talk, don't worry about it, because I'm sure someone's going to get into the hot seat who's going to have a very similar situation to you, or ends up asking a question that you wanted asked to begin with. It happens all the time. Okay, Lisa M. Baby. Looks like I'm talking to you anyway, Lisa. Thank you very much. Hi, Kim. My SP left me last week. Aw, and I've manifested him twice already. And I feel he won't be back again. Yeah, he will. He blocked me this time. It's not going to matter. Not going to matter. Yes, he'll be back. Blocking doesn't mean anything. And clearly I'm talking from experience. I'm sorry. He came in and went out again. So now she's acting like a turd. Pope! Stop that barking. You sound silly. Come over here and relax. Take a chill. Yes, play with your toy. Okay. I know, first of all, breakups, they suck. They hurt. That's why we call them solo vacations, because they sound less nasty. They hurt. But they hurt because in those moments, we really believe in that 3D and that physical separation. It feels very, very real. And if you're anything like how I used to be when I was going through my own solo vacations, look at you are choking yourself with all the barking. Chill out. Oh, she's up here. No, you're not going to sit here and bark. Hey, Pope. No more. No more. He'll be back. Oh my God. I'm sorry. No more. She's not listening to me. Yeah, Crystal, tell her. She's perfect, but she wants to be with Daddy. But he keeps going in and out because he's grilling. He's grilling dinner. I'm sorry. Had I known that she was going to be this barky, I wouldn't have gone live. Hey! No, I mean it. No more. Don't you walk away from me? You're not listening to me. Hey, no more. If she could give me the finger, I think she just did. And she does. She has him up on a pedestal. All right. Sorry, Lisa. Let's bring it back to you. Sorry. ADHD. I get distracted. I wish everybody could just listen to me just because I'm talking from experience. Breakups, being blocked, all the typical painful, uncomfortable things, they are not going to fucking matter. They are not going to matter. They're going to be blips, little memories, little frames of time. That's all they are. You'll be back with your person. I mean, if that's what you want, if that's what you're manifesting, if you're manifesting your person back, you'll have them back. You'll be unblocked in no time. The blocking doesn't mean shite. It doesn't. As easy as you go block, it can just easily go unblock, and you'll get unblocked. Okay, so what I suggest you do, this is what I did. I really took a thorough look at who I authentically really believed I was. This is not me telling you that you have to go dive deep into your history of life. I just mean a straight up question. What do I really believe about myself in love? What do I really believe I can have? What do I really believe this person is capable of, your SP? Do I believe SP can actually show up and truly love me? Do I really believe that? Now, you might get answers you don't like. I know I had some answers I didn't like. It's okay. That's just one version of you, and it's just one moment in awareness. The only reason why, because it really doesn't matter. Old versions of you, they really don't matter. But until we really become aware of that, we still move through states of consciousness like this all day long, all day. We tend to land in a similar state, a dwelling state. All right, hold on. That's it! Come in here, be a nice girl. Be a nice girl. Enough. It's crazy. You're staying in here. Give me your shifty eyes. I know what that is. It's you giving me the F-bomb. Okay. If you could see the side eye she's giving me, like, bitch, don't you tell me what to do. That's what she just said. Anyway. Frig, I lost my train of thought. Oh, okay. So we tend to land in a dwelling state. Okay? As you become more and more aware that you do have an option over who you are, it takes you becoming aware of it to know to change it. This is why you ask yourself, what do you really believe? So again, the reason why you answer yourself honestly and authentically, it's because eventually this isn't going to matter. We're just doing this to get you to see, to become aware, to be awake to what you've been really identifying as living your life. Do you see what I mean by that? I hope you understand what I'm saying. I wouldn't say a lake, more like a pond. Now mill. And once you've done this, so you're going to be asking yourself, what do you really want your relationship to look like? How do you want to feel about your relationship? How do you want to be treated? Who do you want to be? Why are we doing that? So you have a point in awareness to bring your attention to know yourself to be that. That's all I did. Once I did that, all right, and I actually, when I was writing down the who I wanted to be, what I wanted my life to look like, I did not do it just for my love area. I did it for my whole life, how I wanted to feel about every area in my life, how I wanted my specific person to show up and be, or show up and treat me, blah, blah, blah. And I even wrote down like what I wanted like a day in my life to look like, what I wanted a weekend in my life to look like. And I only say that because I remember putting on there that, you know, I want my relationship to be the kind of relationship where if I wake up one random Sunday and say, I'm going to go apple picking, well, then we're going apple picking. If I want to go to the lavender festival, then I guess we're going to the lavender festival. I want that kind of relationship where we go do those simple things together. So anyways, I'm not saying you have to put those things on your list. I'm just saying I really took an in-depth look of what did I want? Because I didn't want to be an SP manifester anymore. You get what I'm saying? I don't want to be in the position of having to manifest a specific person. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that self ever. I just want to be the girl that has it. The girl that doesn't have to worry about it. The girl that just knows. And if you're a guy, insert the word guy. I mean, I'm just saying that's what I wanted. I want my normal, my natural me to be a woman in a relationship. In a happy, loving, fulfilling, committed relationship. That's what I wanted. Because truly, I hadn't experienced that fulfillment of a relationship because I didn't even know that love existed. And that probably does sound crazy. But what I thought love was before March of 2022, because like I said, about 6 months before is when my mind was starting to wander. I thought I had it. I thought I had the most amazing love. I thought I had it. But March of 2022, my eyes, my mind started wandering to, I think there's more. There has to be. Why am I desiring it? There has to be more. There's got to be more to love. Anyway, and I'll tell you, in March of 2022, when those kind of thoughts are coming to my mind, I did not like those thoughts. They scared me. It scared me. It made me think, oh my God, don't think these thoughts. Don't think like that. I'm gonna lose what I got. The mental torture, the terrorizing that this community can make us feel like or do to our own selves. Because if perceived wrong, it can be perceived to be afraid of your own thoughts. And I am telling you, you don't have to be. At all. But anyway. I know I was rambling there. But Lisa, you take that authentic look at who you are versus who you want to be. You know yourself as source. And just, this is going to sound flippant, but I don't mean it flippant. Just live. Just live your life. Know who you are. Don't let the 3D reality, don't let that tell you you're not that you're not that self, right? We don't care what the senses are showing us. That'll change. The world of sense will change. It will. As you change, or as you put the focus, the awareness on who you want to be. And remember, from moment to moment, you're deciding. From every moment, you're making a decision, whether you're actually aware of it or not. You are. By the things you let bother you, by the things that catch your attention. You know, and listen, don't misinterpret what I just said. Oh, I let this bother me. Oh God, I ruined myself. No, it's just showing you who you are. That's it. We don't like who we are. We make a new decision. Bring our awareness. Are you serious? Are you serious? You were being the rudest ever, ma'am. Loved you for a year, Kim. loved you for a year, Lisa. So you are welcome. I hope that helps. And I'd be willing to bet you'll have your person again. I'd be willing. I have the confidence for you. Just because I know it works. I know this works. Sebastian, thank you very much. Hey, Kim, my care engine exploded the other day, but told myself this is the unfolding to my SP. Have you experienced unfoldings that have nothing to do with SP, but lead to your relationship with him? I'm just curious. Do you mean like other things maybe you're manifesting and experiencing that in somehow, some way it was connected to your own SP manifestation? My instinct is I instantly want to say, yes, I have. But I'm trying to think of exact moments to be able to validate that. I'm not thinking of anything. Oh man, I know there is something though, Sebastian. I know there is. And I feel like I put it in a video, but I just can't think of it right now. I feel like I made a video about it too. Because the whole point of the video, oh, I'm getting so angry. Poop! The point of the video was because I was trying to show that sometimes the things we experience, we might not see the connection of how it is a part of us having our desire, whatever we're manifesting, but the most mundane things, yes, we talk about it all the time. The most mundane things are somehow attached to you having your desire. Yes. So that's why my instinct was to say yes to you. Like, is it possible that this circumstance with my car is part of my SP manifestation or something else? Well, again, my instinct is yes. Yes. And that's because everything is consciousness. So everything is in connection. So I know you mean no, Kim, though, but really this. I'm going to say yes. Yes. And let me like, say for example, and this is something that somebody experienced in one of the channel memberships a long time ago, manifesting a specific person. And okay, maybe she wasn't manifesting a cup of coffee, but she decided to go to coffee randomly at a place that she doesn't normally go to and nowhere near SP's place. And she gets in the line to get the coffee. And who's behind her in the line? Her fucking SP. And yes, they both pull over and chit chat and connect. And there you go, blah, blah, blah. Part of the unfolding. So granted, I know what you're asking. Is my car manifestation connected to SP manifestation? Everything is connected. That's actually, that coffee example is one of the reasons why I use the example. Get out, you idiot! He's so stupid. I'm sorry. Well, there he is on camera, guys. He's so dumb. He's the one who don't want to be on camera. What's he do? He puts his damn face up to the window. And he's staring at me through the sliding glass doors laughing. Well, I guess I manifested it, didn't I? Idiot. Oh, God. Like, Sebastian, all the channel members, everybody who's in one of my memberships, you all know it's him who don't want to get on camera. So all the times I've moved the camera while he's sitting on the couch next to me, and now he's the one putting his face in the background, putting it on the internet. Good Lord, sir. It looks like I'm not going to try to hide his face for him anymore. I think that was just a permission slip, don't you think? Oh, don't tell me. He is a smartass. He is. Most of our relationship is laughter, and it makes me very happy. He's making faces at me. Okay, I'm sorry. Anyway, let's see. Now I can't help but to keep looking behind me. Sarah Everywhere, thank you very much. Wait a minute, is that SP? So absolutely outletty, no outside evidence is needed. So absolutely outletly, no outside evidence is needed. Still, I live in the end of marriages, and matter how bad the 3D is, just be delusional. I'm not sure. I think what you're asking me is, so absolutely no outside evidence is needed. And yes, that's correct, none. Still, I live in the end of marriage is, I believe that's you saying, so I keep identifying as the version of self who's married? Yes. No matter how bad the 3D is? Correct. And just be delusional? Yes. But how do you define the word delusional? How do you define delusional? Is delusional a bad word to you? Is you paying more attention to your imagination? Is that just you dreaming, wishing, hoping? Is the 3D the real world? Is that true reality? Because if you view it that way, that's what needs to change. That's the something in the equation that needs to change. Because out here isn't really out here. See what I'm saying? Up here, true reality. Out here, illusion, matrix, simulation, video game. Up here's real. This is what matters. Your whole world can look upside down. And I mean like upside down worse than like Stranger Things upside down. Your whole world could look like every manifestation has just failed. And it can still show up. And it can still change and bring you your desire. I am telling you from years of coaching, I have seen the wackiest. If something was going to look like this looks impossible, I've seen them all. And I'm telling you, it can change. Anything can change. I know it's not always easy to see it when you're the one living it. I know that. Every time my 3D looked bad my first 5 or 6 years, I thought that I had the worst. I thought every time my 3D didn't look good, mine was the hardest, the most impossible circumstances. But they weren't. And yours probably aren't either. Okay? Sebastian, you are killing me, Kim, with how you are reading this. Yeah. Oh, God. Sarah, we got a lot of Sarahs today. Sarah's the name of the day. Sarah K, thank you very much. Hi, Kim, love the channel. Thank you so much. Was listening to an old 80s love song, Born Again. Why do I know that? I know that song. On repeat, thinking of SP, and he later sent me the same song, which didn't know he was aware of. Thought transmission, damn right, thought transmission, more like consciousness decision. Consciousness, yeah. Hail to the yeah. You did that. You did that. Listen, let's just keep it real. Thought transmission. It's a phrase we use in this community. I have more than one video on it. But what's the truth of thought transmission? Your consciousness. Your consciousness. Their consciousness. We're all consciousness. We're all connected. Sometimes I think, at least my old self used to think of thought transmission as like telephones. Like I'm here holding this phone and he's over there holding that phone and I'm sending him my thoughts. Sometimes I think it's still fun to look at that way, but it's not that way. One consciousness. It's amazing. So Sarah K, that's pretty friggin' awesome. There is nothing more juicy than when you get some kind of experience, synchronicity, movement, whatever you want to call it, like that, where it's like undoubtedly you were just playing that damn song and then he sends it to you. I love shit like that. He and I do that with songs. We do that with dinner recipes. We do it with TV shows. I love it. And I've experienced it, after solo vacations and having, SP come back in and saying things that I know I said, doing inner conversations. It's awesome. AAM 9698, thank you very much. I'm feeling more and more in new state to the point where it's more like my real state or who I've always been. Many good things have happened. Only super hard bit is when my physical body hurts as in pain stopped me walking today, but that meant I was sitting by the dock and saw seals. So it ended up being a blessing is what you're saying. Well done though, Rachel. You're kicking ass. I'm proud of you. Very proud of you. Look at you seeing things from a more, I don't want to say positive because you tend to always be positive. What's a better word? Happier perspective? No, you're always chipper around me too. So I don't know. This is good. Let me say it like that. This was good. Denise, thank you very much. Kim, it's been years of the same pattern with SP Connect. Things go great, then ghost. I know I've changed and grown. What the fuck? I'm at a loss because I know I'm chosen. Do you believe he can change? Do you believe that he can ever be the way you want him to be, where we don't have this fucking pattern of getting ghosted? Do you think he can? Is it done? Oh, why didn't you tell me, man? Okay, I'm going to have to go after this one because dinner is done. When you think of your specific person, can you imagine him truly being the way you want him to without you just saying it from, well, yeah, because I believe in manifestation, so I believe it's possible he can change? I don't mean that. I don't mean that answer. I mean, for real. Can he change? Can he be that? What if I'm not sure? That's okay. You're aware that you're not sure, but now you know where to put your focus. Now you know what to believe for yourself. Because he can. Because why? Because you are all that is, right? So what we think and believe about our specific person is a part of our own identity. So that's who you're identifying as. And just out of curiosity, all right, so when you guys connect, all right, so things go great, then ghost. When things are going great, does your mind start sprinkling in the memories of the ghosting? And if so, and it's okay, listen, we don't have to be afraid of our own thoughts. We don't have to be afraid of what we believe we are aware of. All I'm saying is where to direct the awareness, knowing yourself as source. But when the thoughts come in of, we connect, then he ghosts again. Even when things are going great, he ghosts again. But what if he didn't? What if that didn't happen? What if it hasn't been really you being ghosted? And even if he's come in and given you excuses as to where he's gone, blah, blah, blah. What if that all changes? What if you really did experience something different? What would that look like? Well, things go great, but it's not the full Manny, but I always feel it's a bridge to that, and then boom. And is the boom him ghosting again? So things go great, but it's not the full Manny. Then what is it? Okay. So I would really take a look at how he's showing up versus how you would prefer, and focusing on that version of him as you surrender the old. But listen, you already have that mindset that everything you're experiencing is a part of this. It's a part of you having it. So when your attention gets pulled to still not here yet, still not fully changed, here he goes, ghosting me again. Can you see how when you're aware, like let's say when you're having contact and you're aware that, but this still isn't the full manifestation. This still isn't really what I want. Still isn't it. Who are you? In that moment, who are you really? See, it kind of gives you that feeling of, do I have to hold my breath until the manifestation comes? I'm just using that as an example. Not that we really have to do that, but that's what it sounds like. Well, he's showing up, he shows up. It's okay, we get together, but it's not the full manifestation yet. Then boom. Is it a boom? Because you're already aware that it's not the full manifestation yet. So you're already aware from there. That's where you are, right? But that's where your awareness is. Bring it back to who you want to be. By the way, your TikTok live was amazing. I screen recorded a part of what really resonated, and it's really helped. Oh, good. That makes me very happy. I'm glad to hear that. You got this, Denise. I have the faith in you. Okay. I'm going to go because dinner's done. I love you all. Thank you all for being here with me today. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Be good. And you guys seen it. He put his face on the YouTubes for y'all.